the later Vedic economy. How was the later Vedic economy? What did the Aryans do in their economic activity? So here we see some changes here. Start writing. Agriculture, followed by cattle rearing. So Aryans did practice agriculture, followed by cattle rearing, followed by animal husbandry. AH is animal husbandry, followed by domestication of animals. So agriculture, cattle rearing, don't write CR, write cattle rearing, animal husbandry, domestication of animals was practiced. So all of them were known to them. Both Rabi and Kharif crops, both Rabi and Kharif crops were cultivated. So they know all sorts of crops. So I can give you an example. They know rice, they know wheat, they know barley, they knew millets, they knew pulses, they knew maize, they knew cotton, etc. So they knew all of them. So almost same like EVP, but here they are producing more. You know all the Vedic names, Vrihi, Goduma, Yava, remember? You know all of them. So learn it. Sindon, cotton, so all those. So those are there. If you know the Vedic names, keep writing it. So they know all of them: gram, gram, black gram, green pea, chickpea, all that, the chana dal, all the pulses, all of them they knew. Getting it? So they knew lots. Say for example, now later Vedic Aryans are there throughout North India. Don't you think in Punjab you get a different variety of rice? In Bengal you get a different variety of rice? The rice of Punjab is not the same the rice of Bengal. So can we say varieties of rice have been cultivated? But in EVP they'll know only one variety of rice. Sapta Sindhu, are you all there? EVP they'll know only one variety of rice, one variety of barley. Now they'll know four variety of rice. UP there'll be a different variety. Punjab Basmati. Getting it? Bengal there'll be a different rice. Don't you think multiple varieties they get? Kashmir they get a different variety. So Aryans are knowing varieties of crop, varieties of barley. Four types of barley they were knowing. Today when you read you'll find four varieties of rice, three varieties of wheat. So they're knowing multiple. Cotton, Bengal cotton, Bihar organic cotton. So they're knowing multiple varieties of cotton. So Aryans are exposed to lots of agricultural products now. So they are having more in hand now because now they are into society. So everyone has got a land. See, everyone had a land. Everyone tilled the soil. So when everyone tills the soil, automatically they were surplus. And whatever extra they had, they did give it to the outside world. That is how their economic activity was there. The land was so fertile that the land gave them everything. So this is what we get to know with agriculture, and irrigation was also practiced. Irrigation was practiced. Now what did they use? They used wooden and iron plowshare was used. Wooden and iron plowshare. Correct it in your NCRT. Whenever I say correct it, you have to correct it in your NCRT. A wooden and iron plowshare was used. So what was the term for plowshare, ma? Hull or hala. Hull was the term used for plowshare. So in EVP, what plowshare did they use? Wood. In LVP, what are they using? Iron. Iron comes into the picture. Which is the Iron Age of India? 1000 BC. Getting it? I'll tell you. We have to touch iron now. So they used all. So don't you think you dig the ground with an wooden plowshare? You dig the ground with an iron plowshare. Which will give you more yield? Iron. Deep digging. That's why varieties of barley. You'll do it with your geography, ma. How the way you plow your field, the way the plowshare is, a variety of crop is actually there. So that is clearly evident with what? Deep digging. Deep digging comes only with what plowshare? Iron plowshare. So all these were there with them. So now how were the Aryans with agriculture? With agriculture, they had a surplus economy. So with agriculture, they had a surplus economy. So 2A, agriculture. Now 2B, we'll go on with trade. Getting it? 2A, agriculture. We're going on with numbers. So agriculture, India was always a self-sufficient country. See, you can close your eyes and write all the kingdoms of India. Entire ancient, entire medieval, half of modern. I'm telling you something so that you keep it by heart. Entire ancient, entire medieval, half of modern India. You can close your eyes and write, India was always a self-sufficient country. When were we poor? We were never a poor economy. We never were starvation was unknown to Indians. Poverty was unknown. We've never heard poverty. When did poverty enter India? Only with the Britishers. Getting it? That's why Dadabhai Naoroji wrote a book called Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. And he says poverty entered India only with the East India Company. We never knew poverty. We never knew starvation. We never knew hunger. We were always a self-sufficient economy. Take any kingdoms of India, Vijayanagar, Bamini, Mughal, Gupta, Pallava, Chera, Chola, Pandya, Maurya, Chalukya, Rashtrakuta. Take any kingdom. You can close your eyes and write. This you can cut, copy, paste. This part, what I've written you can cut, copy, paste in that economy. Because everyone will produce, don't you think? All will have agriculture, all will have animal husbandry, all will do irrigation. When South India comes, the crops will change. Say for example, when you learn South Indian history, we'll cut wheat because wheat was not there in abundance. Today we have shifting cultivation. In those days, wheat was not there. So instead of wheat in South Indian history, I tell students write ragi. I think you know ragi. So ragi was cultivated. Ragi was never a North Indian crop. Ragi was a South Indian crop. So in South, rice was more, ragi was more. So wheat was very less. Aryans used to bring wheat to South. This is how the culture was. So always, irrigation and all, because southern territories are coastal towns. And we have what? Good river systems there, like Godavari, Kaveri, Tungabhadra. So getting all these rivers made the land fertile. So this part you can close your eyes and write. Till half of modern. The moment that exploitative practices started coming, then what happened? India entered a stage of poverty, hunger, unemployment, underemployment. Are you getting? All these will come only during modern. So this point, it will be like boring. We'll keep on writing this in all the economy. Getting a 2A will always be the same. Clear? Are you all there? Yeah, now we'll move on to 2B. The second one, trade. Whom did the Aryans trade with? There were two types of trade. There were two types of trade. One is internal trade and the other one external trade. So Aryans did have two types of trade, internal trade and external trade. Internal trade, they traded throughout India. So they traded throughout India. That is, they traded with, that is, Aryans traded with the Cheras, they traded with the Cholas, and they traded with the Pandyas. First time I'm giving you South Indian names. Till now, from Paleolithic till now, I didn't teach you South India, but they did trade with Chera, Chola, and Pandya. So when LVP Aryans were ruling North India, who was the ruling dynasty of South? Just know Chera, Chola, Pandya. That's it. I'm not touching. We are not going. Once we touch South Indian history, when I teach you, you'll know who was ruling North then. The later Vedic Aryans. So can we fix the age of Chera, Chola, Pandya 1000 BC? Time being, can we fix it as 1000 BC? So which means Aryans did come to South India and they did trade. In Ramayana, there is a city called Rameshwaram mentioned. LVP. Ramayana was written during later Vedic. So how could Rameshwaram be known to Valmiki? Which means they were in touch with South Indian cities. In Mahabharata, we have Kanchipuram, the city Kanchipuram mentioned. So how do they know Kanchipuram? They were in touch. So they were trading. Only when you trade, you'll know all the South Indian cities. Else, it was not there. So even literary source mention lots of South Indian cities. There's a city called Urayur. Have you heard Trichy? Tiruchirappalli, Trichy. There is a city called Trichy there. So the Trichy, near that we have a small city called Urayur. Urayur is a famous cotton textile center, mentions LVP sources. So people who want that Urayur cotton, like Bengal cotton, Maharashtrian cotton, we have that Urayur cotton. And we'll do it. Once we touch Sangam age, I'll teach you. But like that, we have later Vedic sources writing about it. So Aryans did trade with Chera, Chola, Pandya, internal trade. External trade was of two types. External trade was of two types. They traded with the Western world. Aryans traded with the Western world and they traded with the Eastern world. So the Western world and the Eastern world. So initially in EVP, they traded only with Persia. Remember? Now they're trading with both West and East. With the Western world, whom are they trading? They traded with Persia. They traded with Syria. They traded with Egypt. And they traded with the Greco-Romans. Look at the spelling, Greco-Romans. That is today's Greece and Italy together, a part of Turkey. Come towards the left hand side of India, Persia, Syria, Egypt, Greco-Romans. So Persia, you know, it's today's Persia. Iran, Syria, Egypt, Greco-Roman is today's Italy, Greece, a small part of Turkey. And how were the Greco-Romans called? The Greco-Romans were called as Yavana. So Aryans are using a term called Yavana. Who's a Yavana? The Greco-Romans are called Yavana. So Yavana is a term given to the Greco-Romans. So today when you read your text, you'll find one line. What is barley called? How is barley called? Yava. Yavanas took Yava. Which means what? Greco-Romans took barley because barley was called Yava. So these are terms what we will get. Why? Because Yavanas wanted more Yava. So what was a more major commodity trade taken by the Yavanas? Yava, that is barley. So we get these terms. Eastern world, whom did they trade? They traded with Ceylon. They traded with the Malay Peninsula. Aryans did trade with the Java and Sumatra Islands. They traded with Java and Sumatra Islands. They traded with the Sri Vijaya Kingdom. So learn the places carefully. They traded with Ceylon. They traded with the Malay Peninsula. They traded with Java and Sumatra Islands. And they traded with Sri Vijaya Kingdom. So what are the current ones for this? Ceylon is today's Sri Lanka. Malay Peninsula is today's Malaysia and Singapore. Malaysia and Singapore together was called the Malay Peninsula. Java and Sumatra Islands are islands of Indonesia. Sri Vijaya Kingdom. Sri Vijaya Kingdom. Lower Burma and entire Thailand. So today's Lower Burma and the entire Thailand was called Sri Vijaya Kingdom. Getting it? So learn today's name and learn those times' name. Sri Vijaya Kingdom was Lower Burma and the entire Thailand. If you're stuck, take your atlas after the class, have a look. You'll get it, you'll get it. Just go towards Southeast Asian countries. Getting it? Just go there, you'll just get all of them. So Indonesia, Lower Burma and the entire Thailand was called Sri Vijaya Kingdom. Then Ceylon, that was the name which was given there. So they traded with them all. So clear? A, agriculture. B, trade. So be careful with which countries. So can we say both land and sea routes were used? Yes, because of course to come to South India they would have used land routes. Then to go to the other parts of the world they did use what? Sea routes. So Aryans knew navigation. Yes. Aryans know the art of boat and ship making. Yes. So like that, they started learning. And once you settle in a place and that becomes yours, you start learning and you start exploring and you start getting connected. So this is about 2B. Shall we go? The next one. Independent. Because today, when we look at India, when I say India, it's a mere geographical expression. For them, they may be foreigners. But today, when you put them in Indian subcontinent, today India, it's a country. So we put them under internal trade. We are studying, we see it on those side. When you look at it, this becomes what? Internal. For them, that will be external only. Don't you think so? When Ranjit Singh traded with the Rajputs, it's a foreign nation. Are you getting? There was no India. But how do we study? We put it as internal only. Yeah. So 2C. Shall we go? Items of trade. Fast, fast. Take down 2C. Items of trade. EVP? No. EVP are in Rome. They just came to settle. You make ship, someone will do Gavishti and go. So EVP was very tricky period. Aryans did not go anywhere. And Persia, Afghanistan. One part of Afghanistan is with Aryan. This Afghanistan is Persia. So they were walking. Land route only. Sea routes were not known. Read the books, it's there. It's there. So no land sea routes were known to early Vedic period. Sea routes are coming up only when what? See, exposure comes, you start traveling. And they're very much in exposure with Chera Chola Pandya. And don't you think southern kingdoms have a strong navy? Southern kingdoms, when ocean states will always travel so long. Automatically, when you are in touch with an ocean state or a coastal town, you tend to get exposed to the other nations as well. That is how they got exposed. Now, see, items of trade. Imports. So, what was the export of the Aryans? They exported food crops, cotton textile, timber, ivory, salt, etc. Salt, you can even add spices. Spices. So, where did they take spices from? Chera Chola, Pandya, South India. So Aryans exported food crops, cotton textile, Sindon, timber, getting lots of timber they had. Varieties of timber, teak, ebony, rosewood, all sorts of timber, logs. They used to export, then ivory. So which means elephants were known to them, then automatically salt, rock salt. So all these Aryans started exporting. What was the imports? Imports were gold, imports were silver, again imports were spices, imports were salt, imports were precious stones like lapis lazuli, imports were dates, imports were figs. Getting it? And imports, yeah, spices we've written. So are you getting it? So the same thing. Indonesia is a land of spice. So Indonesia would give them spice, South also would give them spice. They take that spice and they trade it to the outside world. It's like giving and taking. Get it? That is what we get to know. Today you'll find one line. Okay, write it, write it. So gold, silver, spices, salt, precious stone, dates, fig. You can even add wine. Wine was, they obtained it from Syria. So who gave wine to us? Syria. Dates and figs? Egypt. So precious stones, gold, and all we got it from Greco-Romans. Spices from Southeast Asia. Just to give you an idea. Getting it? Just to give you an idea. Southeast Asia. Thailand, Sri Vijaya Kingdom, Indonesia. Just to give you an idea. No one is going to ask you the detail, but I'm just telling you. You should know like where did we got what? Salt from South India. Sea salt, that is rock salt. Different varieties of salt. Getting it? So this is how the items of trade was. What system was used? Barter system existed. So barter system was practiced. So Aryans did use barter system. So to see barter, exchange of goods for good. Was barter known to LVP? Yes, that's it. Some commodities were taken on barter. Yes. Today when you look at your books, you'll get one line. So who's Yavana? Greco-Roman. So Yavana's favorite. Favorite means Priya. So Priya. The term Priya in Sanskrit means favorite. Yavana's favorite was pepper. Getting it? Yavana's favorite was pepper. So locally, pepper was called Yavana Priya. So which is called Yavana Priya? Pepper. Are you getting it? So it's nothing. It's not a name of pepper. Yavana's favorite is pepper. So automatically, colloquially, what they started doing, pepper was called Yavana Priya. So Greek used to come and say, give us Yavana Priya. They are only Yavana. Their favorite is only Priya. But they come and ask Aryans, give us Yavana Priya. So Vedic sources are writing, Yavana Priya is pepper. Yavana's favorite. See, with time you start mixing it up and a new name comes. So where did they get Yavana Priya from? They're saying, we got Yavana Priya from Chera Chola Pandya. We got Yavana Priya from pepper from Indonesia. Like that, Sindon. They're using some terms, Vedic term. So they were very fond of what? Spices, and particularly the cotton. So like this, a system of barter. And whenever we see barter, barter was done with equal commodity. I give you food crop, I barter with food crop. I give you a metal, I take metal. I give you precious stones, you give me pearls, or you give me. South India is known for pearls. You can add even pearls. Getting it much, so they were importing even pearls. Southeast Asia. So you can even add pearls. Ma? So pearls, Aryans knew pearl. South India would give them pearl. So we have pearl cities and all in South. So when you give them pearls, they'll give you gold. Are you getting? So exchange of goods and goods were done accordingly only. But predominantly, what came to India more? Gold came to India more. Plenty of gold. And where do you get all the gold deposits in India? In India, South. So southern kingdoms were dumping north with gold. Greco-Romans were dumping North India with gold. So Aryans started having plenty of gold. See, iron would rust, silver would oxidize, copper would turn green. Getting it? Again, bronze also will change its color. The only metal which remains the same is gold. So they had too much of gold, plenty of gold. So what will they start doing with gold? Ornaments. Then even then I have lots of gold. No coin. They started making what? Utensils. They started making what? Getting it all sorts of materials with gold. So plenty of gold was there. That's why there's a Roman historian called Pliny. Pliny later writes that the entire Roman Empire wealth went on to India as if we looted them. Are you getting it? Yeah. So we didn't see, they were wanting food crops, so they got our food crops and they gave us gold. Ships of gold used to come to the coast of India, getting it, and ships of only spices and food crops will be going to them. So you send one ship of food crop, one ship of gold will come. So what, you can't eat gold. So what they started doing, they started decorating. And automatically when king started decorating, and king will have plenty of gold, so he start distributing the gold to the people. So there'll be a goldsmith. So this is how, slowly that gold is entering into the cultural norm. So people are obsessed with gold because it's the same. The color doesn't change. South is using gold in a different way. North is using gold in a different way. So automatically cultural shift is also happening. So you need to understand that trade made Aryans very powerful, and there's a big community called the merchant community coming now. So everyone was resorting to trade. So keep this gold in mind. Why I'm telling you, we need to connect it. I'm going to connect it with the next point actually. So A, agriculture, B, trade, C, items of trade, D, barter system. Now E. Shall we go? E, it's Bali. Bali. So what is Bali now? Bali becomes tax. So Bali becomes compulsory. Bali was 1/6 of the produce. Whatever you produce, 1/6 to be the king's share. And Bali evasion was considered to be a crime. So now Bali becomes tax. So early Vedic Bali was a gift. Later Vedic Bali is tax. So the term for tax is called Bali, and there is an officer called Bhagaduga. So this Bhagaduga was the tax collector. King will have many officials. Today you're going to learn those terms. Today in your book you're going to learn those terms. You'll get a term Samaharta, Sannigriti, Bhagaduga. You'll get something. Advisors. Have you heard Mantri? So Mantris are ministers. So king will have some ministers with him. So they will be just assisting the king. So this Bhagaduga is one man. So this Bhagaduga will go to the Gramani. Main Gramani. Gramani will give everything to the Bhagaduga. Bhagaduga will take it. So are you getting? And these are all perishable items only, don't you think? See, there are two types of tax. One is cash, one is kind. Kind is you give tax in the form of goods. Cash, there is no money economy. So how will they pay? So Bali becomes tax in later Vedic period. Getting it? So tax evasion is a criminal offense. Anyone who evades tax will be punished by the Rajan. So Bhagaduga will keep a watch on everything. And don't you think, ma? So when society is it's a society. So imagine if I'm the Bhagaduga, don't you think I'll keep a watch of you all? And you will give it to me, right? Because when you don't give, it's a crime. So automatically before death, you will start surrendering everything to me so that I hand it over to the king. So this is what, when state gives something, we call it as welfare. When people give something to the state, it's called tax. Remember the Indus Valley, we discussed this. So this is how, Bali plays a very important role. So Vedic Bali. Next one, Nishka. Nishka, or it's also called Niksha. Write the next point, Nishka. What is Nishka or what is Niksha? Just write it. It was small golden tablets issued by the Rajan. Issued by the Rajan to his subjects. It did not have monetary value. Nishka or Niksha did not have monetary value. It was just used as a mode of exchange. Just write these 3 points. Then I'll tell you how did it work. Nishka or Niksha. What is Nishka? See, in South we call it as Nishka. In North they call it as Niksha. So what is Niksha or Nishka? They were small golden tablets issued by the Rajan to his people. So getting it, did Nishka have monetary value? No, there was no, it's not coin. That's why I never use the term coin. Coin means you have monetary value. Getting it? So now, it was just used as a mode of exchange. Now listen, ma. King has got lots of gold. Now I go and meet the king. Like example, I go meet the king. I recite a poem on to the king. The king is giving me one pouch of Nishka. Are you getting it? So how will Nishka be? It will be small circular or oval kind of small tablet. I don't use the term coin. But to make you understand, your R.S. Sharma will use the term coin. When I say coin, you'll get the pulse. Okay, it's a coin. But actually it was not coin. Whenever you use the term coin, coin will have monetary value. So Aryans never had coinage system. Whenever are you getting it? So how was Niksha? You all know the Dolo 650 tablet? It'll be like that. Small, no, you don't know Dolo 650. Some are blinking. Go to the medical store, get one Dolo 650, open it, and look at the shape. Nishka will be like that. One will be bigger, one will be smaller, but the shape will be like that. So all Dolo 650 will weigh equally, but one will weigh more, one will weigh less because they're doing it in hand. So the Rajan will give that pouch to me. Let's take, I get the pouch of gold coins with me. Now what do I do? What would I do with that gold? Maybe I wear a earring or maybe I wear a bangle. The remaining one, what do I do? Now I go to the market. Getting it? Now let's take, don't take it personal. Ma. He's there in the market, a trader. I just go give him one niksha, telling him, give me one bag of rice. If he's okay, if I'm okay, I give that. Mode of exchange. Tomorrow I go to him. Ma, give me 2 bags of wheat. I give him one niksha. He's saying, no, ma'am. I brought law. It was very difficult for me to get this 2 bag of wheat. One niksha is not enough. You give me two. Kind of a bargaining. So it's not fixed. If I give you 1 rupee, imagine I give you 1 rupee now. I'm asking you to buy something for me. What will you buy and come? Yeah, you get only what? Toffee? Beyond that, what will you get me? Nothing. Why? Because 1 rupee, the value is there in the coin. And you know what products are sold in the market for 1 rupee. You know it, so you all are telling me you will get me a toffee. If I give you 5 rupee, what will you get me? Okay, Parle J, pen 5 rupee, pencil 3 rupee, one eraser 2 rupee. Are you getting sharpener? And now you get one, buy two, get one free. Now sale is going on. You buy a pencil, you buy a eraser, you get a sharpener free. DOMS. There is some company all coming. So 5 rupee, you get all the three. Don't you think you'll all give me variety? So how do you know? Because the value is there in the coin, 5. You know price of the market that this is 5 rupee only. The intrinsic value is there in the coin. But here, that intrinsic value is not there. Intrinsic value you learn in your economic classes. So the coin has got a value. Getting in. So like that, when a value is given there, you will get to know. When a value is not there, don't you think we'll start bargaining? This is what it is. Here, there's no value fixed, but it's at a higher value. You can go buy anything. Are you getting? It's only negotiable. If he is okay, if I'm okay, we buy it. Doesn't mean that one niksha is equal to 1 bag of rice. Tomorrow I go and ask him, yesterday you gave me 1 bag of rice, ma, give me one today. No, ma'am, I took lots of difficulty. You have to give me 3 coins today. I'm like, no, I'll not give you 3. He's saying, ma'am, at least give me 2, ma'am. Getting it? So we are bargaining. So niksha works like that only. So now the concept of niksha is entering. This niksha will later become coin. EVP Bali becomes tax now. This niksha will become coin now. The first people to introduce coinage system in India was Indo-Greeks. Indo-Greeks only had monetary value in coin. Till then, we never had monetary value. It was just like a commodity value. Just, okay, fine, you exchange. Imagine, if example, I give you this water bottle, okay, full. I give you this water bottle to you. How many rupees will you give me? 5 rupee. Because the price, you know it. You know it's 5 rupee. Because this is 5 rupee. I give you my earring. Okay, how much will you give me? 50,000, 10,000, 50,000. Okay, so getting it? So you know the, at least, but if I tell you the exact amount, exact sovereign, exact charges, don't you think you will tell me? Because you know today what is there in the market. That is what I'm trying to tell you. You know the charges, what is the rate of gold, what is the making charge. If you know that, you'll take it. You know this is 5 rupee, you said 5. But certain things you do not know. So what will I do? Negotiate. And when depreciating values will always keep negotiating. Aryans were not knowing all of them. Their main thing is only what? Food crops and all of them. So that is how Niksha worked. Niksha did not go outside the territory. Niksha did not work in South India. South is only giving gold. You'll give them Niksha. Are you getting it? So Niksha was only with what? The people. That's what I've written it clearly. Who issued Niksha? Rajan issued Niksha to his subjects. Now you can't take the Niksha and go to Chera Chola Pandya. They'll give you pat. Are you getting it? But Niksha doesn't work there. So do understand. Be careful when you study. So this is how Niksha worked. So that is F. Weights? No. They had small weights and thing. Not that exactly. When you compare it with today, they had a very different way of calculating calendar, calculating the year, calculating everything. Their calendar was totally different. Today, when we compare it, no. It was very different. See, life expectancy was more. Getting it, everything was counted in a bigger way. So they never had this year system, yuga, yug. They used to talk about yugs. So like that, they had a different calculation. They know monsoon, they know harvesting, they know cultivation, all these, because with the monsoon they started predicting. But exactly, they were not that scientific ones. All the scientific elements come a bit later. Clear? So this is all there. So A, B, C, D, E, F, now G.
Ma'am, how would the managing barter?
Yeah, but you're in semi-rural, don't you think barter only will work? Exchange, semi-rural, they were in semi-rural. I gave you an introduction. They're not city people. And life is very small and the need is something very less. What do they need? A cloth to wear, a roof above their head, water to drink, food to eat. They have everything. Everyone has got cattle. All has got a land. What more in life they want? So for survival, they do barter. And when the value is not fixed, it's like just a primitive way of life. It's a beginning of mankind, where economy starts is the primitive stage. See it in an old stage, like Paleolithic to LVP. Man has transformed to this level. Leave Harappa, they were big people. No doubt, it's a civilization. But when rural turning into urban, don't you think this will only happen? Even today in villages, people do barter. In villages, people do barter. You go to deep villages, barter is there, still there. Barter does exist. You go to deep villages and all. They'll give you some onion, they'll pick tomatoes and come. Farming communities, still they do what? Barter, animal. They give you 10 goats and they take one cow and go. Have you seen? Animal shifting and all. They do this. Barter is actually there. Maybe city people, we are not aware. This is how life was. Shall we go to the next part? Now, tilt your notebook horizontally. Yeah, that's a big point. See, this point, what I'm going to teach you is the base of iron technology in India. First, just listen. Let me teach, understand, ask your doubts, then copy it. Because when you start copying it, again you ask some doubts, I'll not be able to clarify why, because it's a big chart what we are going to do. So first listen. I'll give you time to write. Extensive use of iron was seen. Now, early Vedic Aryans brought iron from Central Asia. They used their iron. Now, later Vedic Aryans are using iron from India, and this iron is used in an extensive way. Correct it in your NCRT again. Iron was used by the later Vedic Aryans because we know iron plowshare. Now, where do you get iron deposits in India? Early Vedic Aryans were here. Later Vedic Aryans are completely throughout North India. Clear? Now from here they are moving. When they are moving, where is the iron deposits in India? The iron deposits in India is in the Chota Nagpur plateau. So now when Aryans started coming towards the eastern part of India, they excavated iron here. They mined it. The moment they started mining, don't you think the entire settlement will go towards the east? And in the introduction, I gave you one line. Remember, Aryans were semi-urban. Remember? In the introduction of LVP, I told you they were not rural, they were semi-urban. Why? So the answer is here now. So extensive use of iron was seen. So when you look at extensive use of iron, with iron you get two things. Aryans did two things with iron. The first one, they made agricultural tools. Clear ma? Iron plowshare, sickle, hoe, to dig the ground, to cut the crop, whatever it is, they made agricultural tool. The second thing with iron, what did Aryans do? They made weapon. So when you make agricultural tools with iron, what will happen? Production would increase. Don't you think I told you? Varieties of crops they'll get. 4 varieties of rice, 3 varieties of wheat, barley. So they get them all. Clear? When you have iron weapons, what will happen? Win over a war. Don't you think they'll have power? So you fight with a copper weapon. I fight with an iron weapon. Who will win? I will win because I have iron with me. So don't you think iron gives an edge? Iron gives me one superiority. So with iron, I am becoming big. Are you getting it? Because agriculturally, I'm becoming big. Politically also I'm getting big, I'm winning lots of battle. Clear? Now with these two, what did the Rajans do? What did the Aryans do? So with these two, what did the Aryans do? The Aryans with this, they started to clear the forest. They started to clear the forest, cutting the tree. They started to clear the forest. When they started to clear the forest, you get three things when you clear the forest. The first thing what you get is timber. Getting when you cut tree, you get timber. Now connect it here. Okay. Items of trade, remember my timber? When you cut tree, you get timber. So what did Aryans do with timber? They built huts. They built huts with timber. The first thing what you get with clearing of forest. The second thing with forest, when you clear forest, they got elephants. They got elephants. The moment they got elephants, what did they do with elephants? They began to domesticate it. So later Vedic Aryans were the first to domesticate elephants, and they got took ivory. So ivory, they started trading it. Remember items of trade? So when you cut tree, you get timber, then you get elephants because jungles. Then the third one, you get a vast area. After cutting tree, you get a vast area. So after getting this vast area, what did the Aryans do? They started to construct cities. Cities were created. So you clear the forest, you get city. Getting it? So Aryans are constructing cities now. When you construct cities, what will cities give you? Cities gave them markets. Markets were established. They started building markets. So these markets were great trade center. Automatically, when market come, what will happen? Trade and commerce flourished. Now connected with trade, trade and commerce flourished. So when trade and commerce flourished, what do we call this pattern? We call this as urbanization. Urbanization increased or developed. Getting it? The moment urbanization starts coming, standard of living got improved. Standard of life improved. So everyone started tasting that city life. When the moment standard of life increased, what will happen? Again, extensive use of iron. Are you all there? So iron gave me tool, iron gave me weapon, iron gave me what? Timber, iron gave me elephants, iron gave me city. So that is what in short we say I is equal to D. So what is that? I is equal to D. Iron is equal to development. So he who has iron has got everything. So iron gives you urbanization. That's why horse and iron are considered to be revolution in Indian history. So why? And imagine if you make an iron chariot, you tie 10 horses, horse-drawn chariot, iron will win over a war. So all these will naturally happen. So this shift took place during later Vedic period.